Yo, what's going on? We doing it different today. We're bringing back the Hefe Files. We're bringing back real conversations. I am the Hefe Hippie, and I have brought back my buddy, my prop that shows that I'm serious when I'm talking to you like this. But we're back, and I have to start off right because this certain things just get me excited. Certain topics hype me. And where I think a lot of people may get confused as to what my argument is. My argument is nothing to do with neither one of the men actually taking the vaccine or not taking the vaccine or having a stance against or for it. That's not my argument. My argument is there's one man on one side who was honest, stood on the ground that he made. He said, I'm not vaccinated, I'm not comfortable with it. And he was villainized, demonized, called selfish, called many things. I wasn't of the mindset to criticize him for not being vaccinated or being vaccinated, because that's your personal opinion. My issue was you at least need to make a decision on it because there's people that's depending on you. So just let them know. That's my thing. You either step aside from the game, retire, figure out what you want to do for that year, come back, or you just go and handle business. You know what I'm saying? And he decided to not do that, and he was villainized. I'm gonna show you a couple of comments from different sportscasters, NBA legends. Dog this man, Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, dog them. And then you have Aaron Rodgers. I have no, like I said, once again, this is not an argument of get backs, non-backs. It's the manipulation, the lying, the deceitfulness. And Aaron Rodgers, whether he can put a 45-minute diatribe out trying to explain himself, he chose to use a specific type of wording to make it seem like he was vaccinated or immunized, but he really wasn't. And he's catching a little flack for this, but he is not catching the same type of condemnation that Kyrie Irving. Nobody is asking for him to give up his money, to give up his check. They're not calling him the same. They're not calling this down the middle. Now, I hate to make anything or everything when it's a black guy and a white guy to make it a race thing. But you see the privilege. You see the privilege. When it comes to black athletes, it's no issue. And I want to shout out Kwame Brown, Kwame Bust Life. Appreciate Kwame Brown for saying what he said. These so easy to attack the black athletes, black men, black athletes, but when it comes to white men, white athletes, there's always this tiptoeing on what things to actually say. Now, I'm not in that field of work, so I can say what I want to say on my opinions. And from standing back, watching this, both scenarios, I can call that this is unfair. The judgment used against Kyrie Irving and the judgment levied against Aaron Rodgers is not equal and it's not fair. And I also hate, and you're going to hear, I'm about to play, I'm going to play the video out through my audio so I can stop and respond to it. Hold on one second. Hold 1 second. Sorry, guys. I'm having a situation with my daughter and just trying to fix something. So sorry about that. It just kind of. All right. So wait. So I watched the Pat McAfee interview with Aaron Rodgers, and I just want y'all to just look at this real quick. Look at the intro he gets. This is a guy who basically, I'll get to it, but listen, look at this intro he gets.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, a man you might have heard of, the current reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL, Green Bay Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
Hey, Rod.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I'm good. First things first, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Or how are the symptoms? Do we feel good? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. Big thanks to everybody that reached out, checked on me the last couple of days. Felt really good. Heard from so many teammates, former teammates, coaches, members of the organization, friends, both yourselves. Thank you guys for that.
Hey, no problem.
So definitely appreciate all the love and support.
Okay, good. Let's get right to it. All right, I feel like what we have been able to, I don't want to say build with you in your incredible, just how nice you are with your time with us every single Tuesday. People have learned a lot about you through this show, and I'm very thankful for that. Every Tuesday, I think a lot of thoughts were potentially changed about you. People that once thought something about you changed after hearing you speak. So whenever all this information came out, there was a lot of haters out there, obviously, that immediately started burying you, but there was a lot of people that listened to you on Tuesdays that say, hey, he's actually an incredibly deep person, an incredibly intelligent person, somebody that you would actually like. There has to be reasons for everything that we're hearing about right now. So I appreciate you so much for this incredible honor that we have to potentially allow you to have a platform and a floor to explain your side of this whole thing. And I can't wait to hear it. We're incredibly lucky for it. The floor is yours, Mr. Rodgers.
Now, did you, excuse me. All right. Did you hear that intro? Hey, Aaron Rodgers bringing in the reigning, defending NFL MVP, Aaron Rodgers, clapping up for my boy. Oh. You've seen by sitting with us every week that people had an opinion on you. You sitting here every week talking to us has changed people's opinion. You're very smart. You're very intelligent. You're very deep. You're a guy that people would love to get along with. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers isn't insightful. I'm not saying Rodgers isn't deep. What I am saying is, where was all of that? Where was that same energy for Kyrie? He ain't gonna know. It's an honor to let you have a platform to say your side. I didn't see nobody offer Kyrie anything with that red carpet laid out. Nobody. I haven't seen it one time. There's going to be a couple of. He's going to say a lot of things, and I'm just going to play a few minutes of here and stop and kind of reflect on what he's saying. But he's going to make a comment where he says he caught COVID from someone with the vaccine. He's going to blame the media. He's saying they're trying to out people, witch hunt, cancel culture. That's going to be the first thing he actually says when he starts talking is we're in a woke time or something, and he's going to get a nail in his cancel culture coffin. And so he plays that. He says that he was ready to have this conversation because he knew that the reporters were sitting on the information. But then if that's the case, why not get ahead of the story? In my opinion, I believe that Aaron Rodgers thought that he was going to be covered, that he was going to be they was going to look out for him in the sense that he knows, as he keeps saying through this interview, that the NFL, his teammates, everybody knew that he wasn't vaccinated. And it's just like, it's that privilege, that privilege where he thought that, he would be able to slide under the radar. It's easy to fall back and say, yeah, I knew the reporters had this story. They were sitting on this info for months. Then why didn't you get in front of it? That's my thing. If you knew that they had this information on you and that you was going to have to answer these questions and you were ready for this conversation, why not beat them to it and then have them make this narrative? Why not get in front of it? See, he had all the answers. So I didn't like that. If get in front of that story, hey, I am not vaccinated, but I am taking an alternative form and I'm being immunized. You just went up on stage and said that you was vaccinated and you wasn't going to judge any of the players that wasn't vaccinated and all this stuff. Where's the harsh criticisms for him? Stephen A. Smith is one of my boys, but damn, I got to say, Stephen A., bro, you tiptoed around Aaron Rodgers so bad and kept trying to put the blame and focus back on Kyrie Irving. And I'm like, why are you putting the focus on a man that's we talking about Aaron Rodgers today? Kyrie Irving's been dealt with. Anyways, so he says that. Then he says that he has an allergy to an ingredient in the mRNA vaccine. Well, it's easy for you to say an ingredient. What is the ingredient? Be specific. Like, I don't even, how much research, you can barely find out what's in the damn vaccine. But you know all the ingredients and all the, it just seems like, but you just have an allergy to what is it? What is the allergy? Like, if you want to come out like that, then explain it all the way. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to come out and explain yourself for 45 minutes, don't give me half the story. Give me all of it. So let us verify your information that you're putting out there. Because now it just seems like it's like he was prepared. It's almost like him and his team prepared these answers for these questions. And he talks about body autonomy. He wants to speak for the unvaccinated and all that. I mean, has anybody heard Aaron Rodgers? Please comment and tell me. Has anybody heard him really speak out like how Kyrie, he keep voice for the voiceless whole thing? Has anybody heard Aaron Rodgers speak about vaccinated, unvaccinated over the last year or so? I haven't heard anything. But now you want to be the one that speaks for the people. Now, I'm not condoning anything. I'm not condoning excuse me, that's not what I wanted to say. Like I said, it's not a personal thing against any vaccination, unvaccinated. I don't care about that. But when I see stuff like this from Charles Barkley talking about Kyrie Irving, so check this out. These are comments that's levied to by somebody who played the game. This is what Charles Barkley had to say.
I can't wait to get the booster. You don't get vaccinated just for yourself.
Some really interesting remarks.
I got vaccinated. I can't wait to get the booster. You don't get vaccinated just for yourself. Like Adam said, you get vaccinated for your family first. You get vaccinated for your teammates second, things like that. That's what bothers me about this whole thing. I think everybody should get vaccinated. And let me tell you something. I really am proud of the Nets for putting their foot down, for saying, no, we're not going to deal with this half on, half off. The only thing that bugs me, he's still going to make $17 million sitting at home. I wish they could find a way. If he wants to go on this thing, like, people say he's like Ali. First of all, don't ever compare anybody to Ali. Ali went 3 years without boxing.
Aaron Rodgers made the Martin Luther King quote.
The highest paid athlete in the world. This guy gonna make $17 million for sitting at home. But to every person out there, you don't get vaccinated just for yourself.
Barkley, they were talking about Kyrie Irving's.
Right. So he's showing all this outrage. against Kyrie for not getting the vaccination. But yet Kyrie sacrificed the game that he loves for something he believes in. Now, it's not Kyrie's fault that the rules are written in such a way where he can still make $17 million to sit at home. But at the same time, I don't hear, or maybe because Charles Barkley is not an NFL, commentator, he's not speaking out on it. But I don't hear nobody talking about Aaron Rodgers losing money. I don't hear too many people talking about him putting his team in jeopardy. There's some here and there, but there's a lot of defense to his reasoning. Aiming for his money. Jay Williams was trying, when he tried to speak to Stephen A about the discrepancy between how he treats Aaron Rodgers' situation to Kyrie, all Stephen A did was keep putting the story back on Kyrie Irving. Every time Jay Williams brought it back to Aaron Rodgers, he put it back on Kyrie Irving. Then Molly, Karam, Rose sided with Stephen A and piled on against Jay. Jay didn't even know that they had another anchor. He was a white anchor. Forgot his name, former quarterback. Was on satellite. He comes in. Now he is piling in against Jay. They won't even let Jay finish his sentences. He can't even get his conversation out. They keep cutting him off. And the only time he really can respond is in the response to them asking him a question. And it's like a boom, rapid. I'm just saying. Before I even came here, I was talking to my boy. And I was explaining to him, like, why is it so easy for them to criticize black athletes? And they tiptoe around, criticizing the white athletes. And he wasn't understanding where I was coming from. He's a black guy. I don't think because of the time that it was really a short, quick, like passing conversation. I didn't have time to really. I was trying to explain one point. You speak in A, and somebody else is speaking G. That's how it was, and I was just like, you know what, whatever, bro. Like, it was selfish for Aaron Rodgers to be out photoed, and he's going to say that wherever he goes, he has a mask on, and he's going to say these things, but then you see these pictures of him out without a mask, and then he contradicts himself just as quickly as he says that he wears a mask everywhere he goes, that he tells the people that, hey, I get tested every day, and look, I get it, the whole wearing the mask thing. Personally, everywhere you go, when you out do your thing, cool, but when you are more so like an athlete, because you are around a lot of people, you can't pick and choose how you want to follow something. You either follow it or you don't. And it's that privilege again where he thought that, they weren't going to expose his truth. And then when it was exposed, now you get this full answer. And I'm not saying that what he's saying isn't true. I'm saying that this is too late, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's after the fact, when you should have came out beforehand and just been honest, where it looks like you was being backhanded and being slick. You know what I'm saying? And when I just seen how everybody hit my man, Kyrie, they hit him just brutally. And you let Aaron Rodgers just walk. Terry Bradshaw said he was disappointed, but a lot of people are just throwing it under the rug. It's quite crazy. It's quite crazy to me. This is a video of Aaron Rodgers at said party. Yeah, so he was out there doing his thing. He was doing his thing. But let me play a few. See if I can catch a couple of minutes of this podcast.
And they have a group of cat.
So whenever all of this information came out, there was a lot of haters out there, obviously, that immediately started burying you. But there was a lot of people that listened to you on Tuesdays that say, hey, he's actually an incredibly deep person, an incredibly intelligent person, somebody that you would actually like. There has to be reasons for everything that we're hearing about right now. So I appreciate you so much for this incredible honor that we have to potentially allow you to have a platform and a floor to explain your side of this whole thing. And I can't wait to hear it. We're incredibly lucky for it. The floor is yours, Mr. Rodgers.
Check this out.
Thank you, buddy.
Good water drink. It's going to be
I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now. So before my final nail gets put in my cancel culture casket, I think I'd like to set the record straight on so many of the blatant lies that are out there about myself right now. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell my side of the story on here. First of all, I didn't lie in the initial press conference. During that time, it was a very, witch hunt that was going on across the league, where everybody in the media was so concerned about who was vaccinated and who wasn't, and what that meant, and who was being selfish, and who would talk about it, what it meant if they said it's a personal decision. They shouldn't have to disclose their own medical information and whatnot. And at the time, my plan was to say that I've been immunized. It wasn't some sort of ruse or lie. It was the truth. And I'll get into the whole immunization in a second. But
can y'all hear?
Had there been a follow-up to my statement that I've been immunized, I would have responded with this. I would have said, look, I'm not, some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I am.
Why does this seem like a shot at Kyrie?
You guys know me. I march to the beat of my own drum. I believe strongly in bodily autonomy and the ability to make choices for your body, not to have to acquiesce to some woke culture or crazed, group of.
I agree with that completely. When you're regular citizens like us, when you are a $100 million quarterback and you're around 52 to 53 other players plus staff, nah, bro, I don't want to hear that. There ain't no body autonomy. You got to tell people what's going on. You got to be straight up, especially if you're going to be walking around with no mask, okay, putting other people's money in jeopardy. There's other guys that you're playing around. There's other 53 other guys you're playing around. There's people in the stands. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And you're out there acting like you're fully immunized and vaccinated, standing out there with no mask on, talking, hey, how you doing? Oh, that's it. Passing all your breath around. Whatever. He seems a little arrogant to me. I'm just saying.
Individuals who say you have to do something. Health is not a one-size-fits-all for everybody. And for me, it involved a lot of study in the off-season. Much like the study I put into Host in Jeopardy or the weekly study I put into playing the game. I put a lot of time and energy and research and met with a lot of different people in the medical field to get the most information about the vaccines before making a decision. And in actuality, it was pretty easy in the beginning to eliminate two of them. And it didn't involve going into the questionable history of some of their criminal activities and fraud cases or any of that stuff. It was simply the fact that I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines. So
perfect excuse, right? Now he has an allergy to an ingredient in the mRNA vaccine. Now, excuse me, don't mind two of them that had criminal and past records. They ain't worried about that. He's just saying it's an ingredient in them. What ingredient? If you know what the ingredient is, Aaron Rodgers, and you just say it. Like I'm sorry, it just seems more like BS to me. I'm just saying.
So on the CDC's own website, it says, should you have an allergy to any of the ingredients, you should not get one of the mRNA vaccines. So those two were out already. So my only option was Johnson & Johnson. At this time,
You're right.
in the early spring,
he definitely tried to throw that out there immediately. Another form of deflection. I'm just like, yo, just own it. Just own it. You know, voila.
I had heard of multiple people who had had adverse events around getting the
We
J&J.
all have.
Nothing that was no deaths or anything, but just some really difficult times and physical abnormalities around the J&J shot. And then in mid-April, the J&J shot got pulled for clotting issues, if you remember that, right? So the J&J shot was not even an option at that point. So then my options became, okay, what can I do to protect myself and my teammates if there's not one of the big three options?
You know what you could have did to protect your teammates is to wear a mask because you are you're not vaccinated, bro. Now maybe on the practice field, I guess, but when you out and about, you should look. I smell bullshit. I'm sorry, I just got to call it when I see it.
For me in my own body, and so I looked into and talked to.
And again, I'm not. Just so y'all know, I have no issue with the vaccinated, unvaccinated issue. That's personal between you and God, and you and your medical provider or doctor or whatever. That's cool. I get that. But in his position, when you are in a position where he is, you're in a $1 billion company with these men who all have to go home. It's just like you miss me with this, bro. And I'm sorry. Let me let y'all listen.
To a lot of medical individuals and professionals, and found that there was an immunization protocol that I could go to best protect myself and my teammates. And it was a long-term protocol that involved, multiple months. And I'm very, proud of the research that went into that. The individuals that I met with, and we felt like it was what was
really quick. The narrative after this weekend, football, wasn't about Aaron Rodgers lying about being vaccinated. It was about Jordan Love playing. They said Aaron Rodgers is probably the biggest winner this weekend because the Packers' future plan, basically, he sucked last night. I was listening this morning like, yo, nobody's going to talk about this. So that story just came and went, huh? It just came. We talked about it briefly and it went. How long did that Kyrie story go on? It's literally still going on. You still got people bringing Kyrie up. But Aaron Rodgers' story is gone already. And I'm just saying, give equal energy to both players if it's like that. I just don't like how it's so easy to attack black athletes and black men or colored men or colored athletes, and then they just let the white athletes just stroll through. Let me give you a quick, brief example. Matt Jones was a wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars back in the day, like 2005 or so. And I remember he got arrested for cocaine. He had like some cocaine on him and some weed residue, whatever the case is. Cocaine. They gave him a 3-game suspension. I forgot what happened, but I remember they gave him a 3-game suspension which he appealed. So he ended up playing in the game, and they ended up upholding the appeal, and they upheld the 3-game suspension. 3-game suspension for having cocaine. How many black athletes has went down for how long? A year? If not 8 weeks to a year off smoking some weed. Okay, y'all don't hear me.
Best for me. It was not, again, something that the league didn't know about. The league was fully aware of it upon my return to the Packers. And it was at that point that I petitioned them to accept my immunization status as under their vaccination protocol. Now, at the time, they had only had the big 3 was what they're going to do. And if you weren't in the vaccinated category, you were you were in a different category, which involved some draconian measures
called it
and
draconian.
protocols that you would have to adhere to, which, in my opinion, were not based on science. Were more
This pandemic's only been around for a year. He said draconian.
To try and get as many guys to get vaccinated as possible so that the league looks better to the rest of the world.
2 years.
That was the focus of these, protocols, which I'll get into when I finish this diatribe here. Petition. So I petitioned the league. Initially, they returned and said, no, you'll be in the unvaccinated category. And I also said, how come there's no exemptions for medical exemptions?
Another question. Why was Kyrie's status so known? Like, was it because he said something about it? Like, his was so broadcast on television about his stance, which I'm sure he might have talked about behind the scenes. This is a scenario of him saying that the team knew about this. The NFL league knew about this for months. It never even came out. Not once. And they knew about it like back then. That's telling. I'm just saying. That's that privilege, bruh.
Religious exemptions for existing conditions. And they basically said, look, those are all basically exempted, but you would be put in the non-vaccinated category. And I'll get into what that meant from a scheduling standpoint shortly, but there wasn't any way of getting around that in their mind. So after they came back and said, no, you're unvaxxed, I said, okay, I'm going to appeal this. And so we went through the process, which was a multi-week process, where I asked them for time to gather information. I gathered over 500 pages of research on the efficacy of immunizations, all the latest research surrounding my case, everything.
He took a 500-page document that he came up with his research to the NFL. Hey, yo, if this doesn't show moxie and goal, and he talks very slow. People who talk very slow they think about every word they're going to say. He's a very smart guy. It seems like he's very smart. He's very choosing which words to use when you really listen to him.
From mask wearing to the efficacy of the vaccines and the duration of the antibodies, just all the latest research, right, that I was getting from my medical team. And in that process, we had many conversations. I enjoyed the conversation with the league. It was good sharing. But one in particular stood out when I knew I was not going to win this. I had a meeting, and they said, one of the main docs said, it's impossible for a vaccinated person to get COVID or spread COVID.
So we all know that's bull crap. The NFL actually said something today. It was a couple hours ago or something. They said something about, they made a statement about that statement he made. So I'm gonna play that for y'all. I'm trying to see. I can't remember where all the good stuff was.
And it was very shortly thereafter that denied, which we know now that information is totally false. That was given to me.
He lost the partnership, and the NFL was like, "Yo, none of our doctors told Aaron Rodgers that you can't catch." Nobody told him that. That's what they said. I'm not calling anybody a liar. I'm just saying I don't get why it's so easy to criticize black men and athletes and tiptoe around the white athletes and men. Speak the truth if it's the truth. Period. Like, I don't care who got a thumb up your ass or whatever. Take it out and speak for yourself. I haven't really even seen, like, I have Joy Taylor is so gorgeous, by the way, on The Herd. But I'm watching The Herd is on. I don't see nothing down there talking about Aaron Rodgers, bruh. Not once. Not like maybe I mentioned, but because of love, but there's nothing down there. Yo, for weeks they was clowning Kyrie Irving. I just played y'all the clip of Charles Barkley cutting the man up. Stephen A got a whole catalog of just cutting him up. Talking about, I mean, like seriously. Check out the clip with Jay Williams and Stephen A and how Stephen A will not talk. He will briefly, I believe Aaron Rodgers is a liar. But then the Kyrie Irving, like, bruh, we're not talking about Kyrie Irving. It's just weird. Like, why you keep going there, brother? We ain't talking about the brother. We talking about him. It was just very weird. Go listen to it. It was a couple days ago. And they piled up on him. They just like had everybody start going at Jay Williams. Like, why? Can't talk about Aaron Rodgers?
My desire to immunize myself was what was best for my body, and that's why this is so important to me. My medical team advised me that the danger of an adverse event was greater than the risk of getting COVID and recovering. So I made a decision that was in the best interest of my body. Not telling somebody to not get vaccinated or to get vaccinated. I think you should do what's in the best interest of your body. Right. If you're scared of COVID, or if you have comorbidities
for reasons like this,
then getting vaccinated is probably your best option. But if you have immunocompromised system, or if you have pre-existing conditions, then
I'm sorry, I always got to bring this up. It's a lot. I have a lot of these type of articles, but I always put this one up. Bill Gates recently caused a huge controversy in Africa when Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was accused of secretly sterilizing millions of women in Africa by doctors in Kenya after abortion drugs were discovered in tetanus vaccines. I have so many more headlines over the last couple of years that have. What is that? I can see it. It's like something on my. It's right there. I know y'all. It's right. I'm gonna get it. Anyways, I have so many articles with that. Those, and it's always the one word: vaccines. This polio, 47,000 crippled after the polio vaccine. Bill Gates had some experimental polio vaccine out in India years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's always the vaccines. So I understand people wanting to research, because I'm one of them, bro. I'm just not going to. Hey, yeah, it's mandatory. It's mandatory to who? I pay my bills, brother. You ain't gonna mandatory me to do anything. But I can make that decision because I'm not around a lot of people. I own my own little small business. I'm either around me, maybe one or two workers, and the people house we're at. If that, my daughter, my small family when I'm around them. For the most part, I be chilling, bro. I don't be around people. But if I was around 1,000 people a day, well then maybe even if I wasn't comfortable with the vaccination, I would definitely take even more precautions to make sure I didn't get anything, because I don't know about y'all, and for y'all, because I'll be, but like I said, I'll be out the way, and y'all should be too. Stay about these people's faces. Their breath stink anyway.
Make the decision that's in your best interest, and that's what I did. I made the decision that was in my best interest. And the other part to it is that I talked about this I think on the show before.
I like that. I wish I knew your name. No, none. If a doctor told that statement to Rodgers, why doesn't he have a name of the doctor to go with the accusation? Just like he says he has an allergy to one of the substances in the mRNA, but doesn't say what substances that he's allergic to. Absolutely right, bro. Absolutely right.
But the next great chapter of my life, I believe, is being a father. And it's something that I care about a lot. And
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
To my knowledge, there's been zero long-term studies around sterility.
And this is the thing. Here we go again. There's been zero long-term study. Yo, they literally just rolled this out this year. Obviously, there's not going to be no long-term study, Aaron. My problem with this whole soliloquy, diatribe, is that you should have came out and said this from the beginning. That's all I'm saying. Get in front of it. Now you got a 45-minute lecture to give everybody. Why is that? Why now? Oh, why now? You were so comfortable keeping it all to yourself, Mr. John Wick. Huh? That was a badass outfit too. You look just like him. And whoever that Bane character was, he was a good character, good hookup, bro. But now you have all these explanations, and you keep the things that you should be very clear on. You're being shoddy on, like my man right here in the comments was saying. Everything that needs to be that you should drop a name on, you won't drop it. What is the allergy? Oh, I don't. Oh, you're not gonna tell us it's just the allergy, not the actual specific. The doctor says, okay, I know nouns, but what's the pronoun? Like, who is the doctor? And the NFL quickly came out and disputed that. No, sir, that did not happen.
Or fertility issues around the vaccines. So that was,
and that's one of my biggest fears, the whole fertility sterilization thing. I want to have children, and I just don't. I don't know, man. I see what y'all looking like about 7 years. If y'all who got it can have kids in 7 years, then maybe I got y'all. But I heard my research showed otherwise, so I'm gonna hold off just a little longer. Just a little.
Something that I was worried about, and I went through my mind. Now, obviously, having an allergy to an ingredient, it took me off of being able to take
an allergy to an ingredient.
But even if I didn't have that, that would be something that would give me a little bit of pause, because we don't know what the long-term effects of these are. There's still clinical trials going on through 2023. So to just like when people just say, "Oh, just get the jab," well,
I'm trying to read their faces.
Different, number one, and second of all,
their expressions are like
things we don't know about this. So that's just one thing I really want to stress there. And again, the organization knew exactly what my status was. My teammates knew exactly what my status was. There was nothing that was hidden. During the time of preseason was during the time of the appeal. I thought actually at various times I was going to win the appeal. And I think that people said I didn't wear a mask during the preseason. But I mean, some of the rules to me are not based in science at all. They're based purely in trying to out and shame people, like needing to wear a mask at a podium when every person in the room is vaccinated and wearing a mask makes no sense to me. If you got vaccinated to protect yourself from a virus that I don't have as an unvaccinated individual, then why are you worried about anything that I can give you? And let me get on protocols now, because that's obviously not out there as well.
I almost wanted to go back, but it's so long.
Protocol to a T. Minus that one I just mentioned, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But my daily routine is the routine of an unvaccinated person, which is
because you are unvaccinated, Aaron.
Test early before starting the season. Vaccinated people test once every 2 weeks. Non-vaccinated once a day, which again, that's not based in science at all. You can have vaccinated people who actually carry and spread the virus, not testing for 2 weeks, and non-vaccinated people are the safest people in the building because we're the ones who are testing every single day and wearing masks the entire time.
I'm not saying he's
but
not right.
We're being made to think that we're the dangerous ones, we're the super spreaders, when in fact we're the most tested by our body every single day. But these protocols that we have, we've had to go through a test every single day, 5 a.m. on noon games as well, which I don't understand why 5 a.m., but 5 a.m. in the morning on noon games. You test in the morning.
He just did like this. So you got to nose it
for 30 to 40 minutes to give you the okay to go in. Non-vaccinated or vaccinated people test and just go right in. So we had somebody test the other day. Vaccinated person tests, goes in, has breakfast, test positive. And then, oh, shit, bummer. He just had breakfast with 5 people. Wait in my car, mask every day in the facility.
I think he has notes. He's looking, reading.
Physically distance from everybody else. I have major.
He has notes. Like, he is prepared answers for these questions instead of just saying, hey, look, I should have just been straight up. I wanted to keep it, kind of out the public eye because I didn't want it to be a distraction for my team every week. Instead of just saying that, he is talking in circles.
Travel restrictions, so I can't leave the hotel. Can't have dinner with teammates. even though I tested negative that morning to even get on the flight. The only people I see at the hotel
You're not the only
are
person to have to go through
vaccinated people.
Good catch, Happy. COVID hasn't caught your instincts.
Yeah. Only people I see at the hotel are vaccinated people.
He doesn't have a sense of humor.
But
He
I
didn't
have
even
to
crack
wear
a
a mask
smile
the
at that
entire
joke.
time. I can't see anybody. Can't see anybody after the game.
He was like,
I work out off to the side in the weight room in a mask. Again, there's many studies about the efficacy of masks for workouts or the higher levels of CO2 inhaled during workouts.
I'm sorry, but I can't mask and work out. I got
not allowed to use the
it's hard
sauna
to
or the
breathe.
steam room. I have to wear a yellow wristband at all times, basically shouting to the world, I'm uncleaned and unvaxxed. And in this situation now, I'm 10 days off regardless of tests or symptoms. So I'm sitting here 2 days in. I had some symptoms Tuesday night, tested positive Wednesday morning. Didn't feel great yesterday. I'll get into what I've been doing, but I feel really good today. This is Friday. But 10 days off regardless.
And let me tell you another thing about Aaron Rodgers. This is a shrewd, ooh, he's good. Now, we all know the end of the week is Friday, meaning the media coverage doesn't really start back until Monday. So, like Monday through Thursday, anything that dropped, they're going to cover heavy. He dropped it on a Friday. A lot of companies do that. They'll drop certain things on a Friday. So, like, it just kind of goes under the wind. Like, you kind of overlook it because the media isn't going to pick it up because that weekend there's going to be a bunch of other stories. This dude is, this dude is bad, sir. He's bad, sir. He's good. I give it to him. He's
just
good.
has to have 2 back-to-back negative tests. When it comes to the science again for non-vaccinated, it came up last week because Alan Lazar.
It's called a media dump, I believe, on Fridays. It's like a media dump. You just dump. He knew what he was doing.
Was a close contact to Devontae Adams, and Alan is not vaxxed, and obviously tried to cancel him for that, but they also didn't bring up the fact that he tested negative every single day. So just because he was close contact and not vaxxed, this is what the league has done: is they've made it, hard for people, to have a decision because you're close contact. That means you're out for 5 days. Not based on any science, other than we're going to just keep this propaganda narrative going that
I got it wrong.
Unvaccinated people are
the
most dangerous people in society.
I wish I could share with you.
So, and again,
Can I ask some questions here now?
No, you can't.
Let me finish up here.
He said, "Let me finish." No, you
I just
can't.
want to say, that is what the media has been trying to do. They're trying to shame and out and cancel all of us non-vaccinated people.
I don't like that excuse. Nobody is trying to shame you, Aaron. You chose to come out and speak untruthfully about something. You should have said, I was taking an alternative form to become vaccinated and immunized. Instead, you said, I'm immunized, and then went on to say, those guys that's unvaccinated, we don't judge them. Do I have to go and pull it up? In case nobody believes me here. Like, do I need to play it for him? Because apparently he has selective memory.
People call us selfish. I mean, that's the propaganda line too. Now, you're selfish for making a decision that's in the best interest of your body. Now, I've already spelled out, which I shouldn't have to, but I've already spelled out the issues of my own personal body and my own personal health, right? That, I have issues related to ingredients in the
Here we go.
In the mRNA
ingredients. I thought it was ingredients.
The J&J got pulled. Not to mention the numerous issues with the J&J vaccine to this day.
I have to say this. Anybody who got the J&J vaccine, I pray for you daily because they couldn't even get baby powder right. Just saying. Talcum powder. I know y'all see that commercial. Science, Ryan, science. If you talcum powder, you know what I'm saying. Those commercials.
That I went out and on my own paid for, did research, and went out and did an immunization protocol that's been used. Homeopathy has been around for centuries, and the doctors that I consulted with have been doing this for decades. The same type of stuff for children and adults who have immunocompromisation they have pre-existing conditions or reasons that they cannot take traditional vaccines. The league didn't offer any opportunity for alternative medicines or treatments, as I'll get into. But I think the thing that
let him ask you a question.
Disappointing is that it was not just that, but it was the coercion and the collusion, of GM saying they're not gonna sign non-vaccinated.
Who's he? Reverend Jesse Jack Al Sharpton. Collusion, Constitution, restitution.
Players. And the coercion for player 54 through 90.
Coercion,
if I don't make the squad that I'm on now in training camp, I'm not vaxxed, my career is over. So there wasn't even opportunities. Workers in those same environments had no opportunity. Workers at the facilities, and it's happened all over the country.
Say what you want about Kyrie. People are losing their jobs because of this not being vaccinated. And say what you want about cuz he's at home right now. He's home. Yes. Yeah, I know. He's still getting paid a bag to sit at home. But even if they took all of his money, I guarantee you, he would stay home. He's not a stupid guy. I'm sure he's invested well. He has a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. Okay. So, like, when you talk about sacrifice and that is it. That's him. He's sacrificing his dream because he doesn't feel comfortable getting something or feeling forced to get something that he doesn't believe in. And I wasn't on Kyrie's side as far as the way he went about it, because I'm like, hey, I'm with you with the being unvaccinated, being vaccinated, and having that mistrust. I get it, but I felt like he owed not only himself to have that mental space, but his team to say, guys, so they can focus on something else. You're bringing unwanted attention to. That's not, those guys don't need to talk about you every day. So I was like, you just need to make that decision now. Like, make it. If you want to retire for a year, I'm with it. If you want to play, go play. If you know what I'm saying? But just make that decision. And he finally made it. And he gave his explanation. But it was about, and that was it. He didn't play the season. You know what I'm saying? You played the actual season. Like, you're playing, what game is it? Week 8? Week 9, you're in the actual season, and this is coming out, and it's like, come on, dude. Like, now you have all the answers.
You're seeing these mandates for firefighters, and policemen, and government workers who are saying, well, no, it's, what about my body, my choice? What about making the best decision for my own circumstance? And that again, that health is not a one size fits all thing. Like, that's the thing that's most.
He said the same thing 3 times.
Had, I'm the second non-vax player to test positive. It's pretty evident I tested positive being around a vaccinated individual. I mean, that's the majority of people I spend time with.
Yeah.
There's been dozens of individuals that work at the facility that.
I wonder how his vaccinated teammates feel about that. Oh, you pointing the finger at us. At us. See what I'm saying? There's no ownership here. None. Where is his ownership? The man won't take ownership. He sounds, no, I'm not calling you a woman, Aaron Rodgers. You sound like a woman, bruh. And I'm not knocking you ladies, but y'all don't like to take ownership for nothing. Y'all don't like to admit when y'all wrong. I know. Oh, boo Rodgers. Oh, boo Rodgers. Yeah, whatever. Cool. Save that drama for your mama. Back home, all right? Y'all don't like to take ownership for what stuff y'all do stuff wrong. And he is not trying to take ownership for choosing to be sly, choosing not to be fully honest. And he won't take, you made that choice. Nobody said it was puppeteering Aaron Rodgers. He's walking around making you do stuff. No, you did all that stuff, bro. And for you to sit here and not take any accountability. First it's draconian laws, then it's allergic, then it's a witch hunt, it's they trying to out you, it's the media, it's the unvaccinated people, when is it you? When is it you? Jesus, look in the mirror. God dang.
Are vaxxed that tested positive. So this idea that it's the pandemic of the unvaccinated is just a total lie. And I go back to like these two questions for the, for this woke mob. Like, number one, if the vaccine is so great, then how come people are still getting COVID and spreading COVID and unfortunately dying from COVID?
Now, Rodgers, I'm about to stop him. I don't know how much I can take anymore. Rodgers, we all know that the vaccine does not stop you from getting COVID. It's to help prevent you from dying from it. Okay? It doesn't stop you from spreading it. You still get a flu when you get the flu shot, right? All right. And I thought he did all this 500-page studying, research. Then why the hell he just say something so stupid?
Like, if the vaccine is so safe, then how come the manufacturers of the vaccine have full immunity? So let's just step back and realize, like, this vaccine is revolutionary, the things that they're doing. However, we don't know a whole lot about it.
No, we don't.
And to just say that it's a blanket for all that ails you, in my opinion, is wrong and reckless.
Yeah, me too.
And
I think that's wrong and reckless.
For the media out there taking shots at me, like, you don't know my story, now you do. So
No.
quit lying about me.
No. They're not taking shots at you, Aaron.
Personal health decisions, in my opinion, should
Shut up. They're not taking shots at you, Aaron. You wasn't truthful when they asked you straight up, Aaron, what's your vaccination status? I'm immunized. And we don't judge those who are unvaccinated. Because that's not the media, bro. That was your words that came out of your mouth. And I'm just saying, all I want is the same. All the crap said about Kyrie, I want the same. I want his name being talked about every day. I want people hollering and calling him stupid and selfish and saying that he should lose his money. And I want, where is that? Where is it? I'm waiting. I'm looking. I don't see it.
private. And they shouldn't have to be like gone through the ringer and over scrutinized by, people who are just pushing their own type of propaganda on the people and ideals. You want to have a conversation about it? I'm more than willing to have a conversation about it.
I hate when he says that. If you want to have a conversation about it, I'm more than willing to have a conversation about it. When? It's now when people found out that you wasn't, now you would have had the conversation? You could have been had the conversation. You could have been got in front of it. That's my whole problem with him. Like, just, you're not manning up. You played one of the most physical sports in the world, and you can't even be a man and man up for this. But you get hit by 300-pound guys once a week. I mean, a couple of times a week for 16 weeks, 17 weeks plus if you make the playoffs.
But bodily autonomy is a right. And the shaming and the outing that, people seem to get off on so much of finding these people who, oh my God, can you believe these crackpots who are not vaccinated? Everybody has their own story.
I'm not a crackpot.
Everybody has their own story and their own issues and their own reasons for doing things.
I'm not vaccinated.
But this shaming cancel society, that is wrong. And
because I do believe in finding out your own information, and I do research what other doctors say. And so I'm totally with, doing what's best interest of you. I'm one of these people that don't really get sick and ill and knock on wood, because I stay out of people's face. That's number one. Okay. So I feel him, but I don't feel the way he's trying to now shape the narrative. No, you had the chance. You chose not to. Now live with the consequence for lying. and not being honest. Even if it was a half truth, it wasn't the full truth, bro.
I made a choice that was in my best interest. You might respect it, you might hate it, but I bet you the same people that hate it are the same people that are really going to hate the fact that I'm 48 hours in, and I consulted with a now good friend of mine, Joe Rogan,
Name dropping.
after he got COVID, and I've been doing.
Oh, what I wanted to say was fear mongering. That's what it was. He had said something, and I wanted to say it's fear mongering. I'm scared all these people into believing that this vaccination was you had it or you die. Did a lot of fear mongering, blah blah blah. Besides the point.
A lot of the stuff that he recommended in his podcasts and, on the phone to me. And I'm going to have the best immunity possible now based on the 2.5 million person study from Israel that people who
2.5 million study
recover
in Israel
have the most robust immunity. And I'm thankful for people like Joe stepping up and using their voice. I'm thankful for my medical squad. And I'm thankful for all the love and support I've gotten. But I've been taking monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, zinc, vitamin C and D, HCQ, and I feel pretty incredible.
Okay, so you said a lot there. We appreciate it. I'm going to have to ask some follow-ups, and we appreciate you getting your entire side out there. And there's some incredibly enlightening stuff about why you chose to do what you do.
What was enlightening?
So I wasn't able to get the
like
what was that last one?
Like
ivermectin. I wasn't even able to get it. Doctor, I didn't know that this was an entire political battle. I don't know that world well enough. I had no clue. But the doctor was like, hey, we'll give you this. You'll get this. Go over to the pharmacy, pick it up. I was vaccinated, had COVID, by the way, 104.5-degree fever. I mean, it was bad. And I had to think about my long-term because I would like to be a father as well. When I made those decisions, I went over to the pharmacy and I was in the middle of having COVID, and me and the pharmacist were getting into like, you're not allowed to have this. Isn't what you're allowed to have. It became this whole thing. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, I didn't write the script. I have no clue what you're doing. But it seems like all the rich people, okay, since the beginning of time, and this is coming from somebody who, and I'm not going to say I was a poor person, but a very humble beginning. Since the beginning of time, we always assume that the rich people always got the best access to the best stuff, and they've always been able to do it. And then all the rich people are taking this one thing, and it seems to be helping everybody out. And then all of a sudden, somehow everybody is now being told that it's not. This isn't going to do it. This is horse. This is that. It's like, I don't understand how we get to that as a whole world. I haven't looked into it enough, but it appears as if you have. And if I'm getting this right, after what you just said there, the diatribe that was like 20 minutes addressing all answers, and I saw you take notes there, which is beautiful. Am I getting it right that you didn't want to be one of the faces of like the anti-vax community? So whenever people said that you slyly and misled, and that was in the middle of a different...
It's always good to have your friends interview you because he's being so incited, and he's congratulatory when he should be like, yo, that was some bullshit.
Different time than we're currently in. It feels like the way you were talking is you didn't want to become a poster boy, the MVP of the NFL, Aaron Rodgers. You weren't ready or didn't want to be the poster boy for an anti-vax community. And now have you just had to buy into it because there's a lot of every politics, sports world, everybody's talking about you right now. This is basically all of 2020 and 2021 crashing down in on itself in one situation for a guy that's currently in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Have you now kind of bought into that? And your message was very clear, like you should make your own personal decision, which is what everybody said. But is that why at the beginning you didn't want to be that person? Is that why you kind of did the immunized answer? And if you would have got harped on it, you would have followed up, but you didn't want to get into that world? Is that why you chose that?
I really feel like at the time there was a time and a place for sharing of information. It was such a witch hunt. They wanted to out and shame and denigrate every single person who didn't immediately say, oh, yeah, I got the Pfizer, I got the Moderna, whatever. I wanted it to go away. I mean, everyone in the squad knew I was not vaccinated. Everyone in the organization knew I wasn't vaccinated. I wasn't hiding.
Pause. Now, I look over at the TV. They're talking about Green Bay Packers. What does it say? Love lost. Jordan Love, 190 yards, touchdown, interception. The Packers lost to Chiefs. Confident Love can play better while filling in for Aaron Rodgers. That's it. That's it.
For anybody. I was trying to minimize and mitigate having to have this conversation that would go on and on. And there were people in the media who somehow found out about it and been sitting on it for a couple months. So it wasn't like this thing was just hidden until this week. Like, people knew it and they sat on it.
He expected
At some point, I knew I was going to have to
covered.
discuss it. And, I was ready to discuss it. But
you hear this bull crap? You knew for months these people had this story, and you knew you had to discuss it. But it's half the season in, you never discussed it. But you're ready to talk, though.
The problem with this is it is so political, and health should not be political. It shouldn't be that, Trump endorsed ivermectin and HCQ, and so take that shit off. It doesn't work. I mean, in general, I think we all should have been a little hesitant when Trump in 2020 was championing these vaccines that were coming so quick. What did the left say? And I'm talking about every member of the left. Don't trust the vaccine. Don't get the vaccine. You're going to die from the vaccine. And then what happened? Biden wins and everything flips. Shouldn't that initially give you a little bit of pause and go, hold on a second? Isn't this shit about health?
So you get the point, right? That's basically the gist of him, because he's going to just keep talking in circles like that. I think this is how he ends it. I recorded it. So it's like 3 minutes if y'all want to watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, wrong one.
Let me just finish with this.
Okay.
I thought that is really powerful, and I hope people can hear that. The situation that I'm in should be a conversation, not a controversy. I've made a decision based on what's best for my body. I've just laid it out to you, my health history, and why I made this decision. Okay? This shouldn't be a controversy. It should be a conversation. I'm here to continue the conversation. Because of this virus and testing positive, I have to miss 10 days. Again, the scientifics of that arbitrary number is whatever. I feel really good, and if this were the flu, there's no reason I wouldn't play on Sunday, especially the way I feel right now. That being said, I'm very excited for Jordan. I have had conversations with him. It's going to be very strange to watch the game without being there. Just my third time ever watching a game on TV of a team that I've been on. The other two was post-surgeries in 2006 and 2017. So that's going to be hard. But look, I hope that we can take a step back, quit lying, quit with the witch hunt and the canceling, and realize this is a conversation to be had, not a controversy. And let's move this forward with some love and connection. That's what we need in this world. This things that we don't agree with or understand. When we don't agree or understand with each other, let's communicate instead of initially just canceling someone, silencing someone. Like, that gets us nowhere. Like, that's what I did when I started my research. I put every single bias to the side and think about, okay, what is going to be best for my body, and listen to everybody on every side of every opinion. That's the only way to truly learn things without bringing your own personal, bias into things. You want to live in an echo chamber? Like, go for it. But that's not a way to move society forward. That's not a way to move your own consciousness forward. You got to be able to reach across the aisle and talk to people you don't agree with. I've talked to many people who are vaxxed, and we've had incredible conversations on both sides. And I appreciate hearing their insight. I made a decision that was in the best decision of my body. And if you have a problem with that, there's nothing that I can say to you other than this was my decision. This was best for my body.
I can't take it. I don't know how much longer it took, but I can't take it. The man, he said, I don't know what to tell you. It was my decision. Yeah, so I'll talk to y'all later. That's basically that's Aaron Rodgers for you. I just find it funny how it's just so easy to always criticize the black guys, man, and so easily will walk and tread lightly when it comes to talking about successful white male athletes, or just I don't know. I mean, am I tripping? I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I need to pull up? Because I did have the NFL's response. Let me see if I can get it to.
At this moment, our experience led a peacekeeper take to the
CBS
skies
News.
with peace of mind.
Oh, that. Let this ad pass. And then after that, I'll wrap it up. And I'm going to let you go for now. I'm going to be doing a Dune review. Wow. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I can't get back. Good God. I might have to do some background research on that movie and book.
Welcome back to CBS Mornings. That was Aaron Rodgers' backup, Jordan Love. The Green Bay Packers lost to the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday. Now, Rodgers was sidelined after testing positive for COVID last week. The test revealed that Rodgers misled the league and his teammates about his vaccination status. The trouble escalated after Rodgers made a series of charges on a radio talk show, claiming he did nothing wrong in promoting unproven COVID research. He was dropped by some of his sponsors, and there is growing questions over whether he received preferential treatment from the Packers in the NFL. Molalangi reports on the angry criticism Rodgers received yesterday.
Aaron Rodgers got cute with his wording. He got caught, and he's embarrassed, and he wants it to be everybody else's fault except his. There was no holding back on Sunday as commentators unloaded on star quarterback Aaron Rodgers for his misleading comments about his vaccination status.
Unfortunately, we've got players that pretty much think only about themselves, and I'm extremely disappointed in the actions of Aaron Rodgers.
On a podcast Friday, Rodgers was adamant that he did nothing wrong.
First of all, I didn't lie in the initial press conference. During that time, it was a very, witch hunt that was going on across the league, where everybody in the media was so concerned about who was vaccinated.
But this is what he said in August when specifically asked if he was vaccinated.
Yeah, I've been immunized. There's guys on the team that haven't been vaccinated. I think it's a personal decision. I'm not going to judge those guys.
In his roughly 45-minute self-described diatribe Friday, Rodgers offered his explanation for not getting vaccinated.
I'm not, some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines.
The NFL does allow unvaccinated players to play, but there are rules. Rodgers seemed to choose which ones to follow, calling some draconian.
Like needing to wear a mask at a podium when every person in the room is vaccinated and wearing a mask makes no sense to me.
But CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Highdeas says masks do work.
With the vaccines, you can get some breakthrough infections, a small amount of virus, and spread it to others. And we all are one community. Indoors, we need to wear masks right now till the virus numbers come down in the country.
Rodgers also said he had done his own homework, like consulting with podcast host Joe Rogan.
I've been doing a lot of the stuff that he recommended in his podcasts and, on the phone to me.
Rogan, of course, is not a doctor, but has told his millions of listeners that young, healthy people do not need the vaccine. Rogan and Rodgers have both said people should do their own research, while at times continuing to highlight misinformation.
There are tens of thousands of people that will follow Aaron Rodgers because he's a leader. And the assumption is that he knows what he's doing. And that will harm lives in this country and put them in danger.
Now, Rodgers will likely be fine, but because the NFL and the Players Association, the union, have collectively bargained punishments, Rodgers will likely not face a suspension per the agreement. Now, his coach says, Matt LaFleur, the head coach of the Packers, says that if he is available, Rodgers will absolutely play next week.
Because they got an L on Sunday.
The best player on the field when he's on the field, right?
Of course he's going to play. There's a ton of things I can pick through when it comes to how Aaron Rodgers addressed this. But, he says, I did my own research. It's almost like he's implying that people who got vaccinated didn't. So, Aaron Rodgers did lie. He did mislead the league. And more importantly, he put his teammates in the media at risk because he didn't follow protocols.
He also said that he was allergic to something in the Pfizer in the vaccine, and doctors over the weekend said, he won't say what that is, and they're also saying, to their knowledge, there isn't anything that you would be allergic to.
Right.
So I wish he would share that. He's also taking some heat because he quoted Martin Luther King, saying you have a moral obligation to object to unjust rules and rules that make no sense. You know, as LZ Granderson pointed out, you can use a King quote, but context matters.
Yeah.
And Rodgers said, if somebody had asked me a follow-up question, I would have given the answer. This is what I like. This is the point I'm making.
So
LZ Granderson, did you see this? He said it's equivalent of catching your boyfriend cheating on you, and him saying, if you had a follow-up to my statement, I would have said, I'm not sleeping with anyone else, but I am having sex with other people. I think that sort of puts it in a very different context. But he's coming back. He's coming back, and he will be
he's one of the best players. Yeah, and they lost. And so, they're going to want him back.
To bring him back.
Yeah. Well said, Gil.
All right, thank you. Well said, LZ Granderson, but very well done. Thank you, Molangi. Always good to have you here.
That's basically him. So, whatever. I just thought there was a huge discrepancy between the two ways that the media has handled the Kyrie Irving situation, and he was truthful from the get-go with his whole situation, and the coverage of him was like, many weeks after week after week was Kyrie Irving. And Aaron Rodgers was smart enough to try to dump that information on a Friday. It got talked about, but not nearly enough like it has been with Kyrie. And I just think that, it's unfair, man. If you're going to criticize and point, blame and call people selfish, whatever the case is, it should be given equally to whichever race, gender, whatever your gripe is. It should be equal. And I feel like it hasn't been. So with that, I'm out because I can't take no more of hearing Aaron Rodgers talk. This man does not take accountability. Seems like he's the me guy. I mean, he can be a cool guy, like you said. It always kill me when it's a white athlete, how they go to their intelligence. And then what makes Kyrie Irving's an intelligent, deep brother? You know what I'm saying? It's always just like, wow, what does that mean? But I'm out. And I appreciate y'all hanging with me. I'll be back. Once again, I got to do a Doom review. Yo, what was that? And I'll probably do that tonight. What time is it? Maybe 7. Probably 7. Get some time to breathe and then I come back. Put a different shirt on or something. Y'all take it easy. You know what it is, man. Smoke weed.